It's a new day, and the other day I asked all of my viewers on my community page what features they want to see in the Chapter 3 update, and you lot did not disappoint. Let's get into some of the best suggestions, starting with a super unique idea for one of the story islands. Get Good at Bed Wars suggested an abandoned amusement park, and I feel like this could add some real diversity and just weirdness to Raft. I mean, imagine an amusement park just plonked right in the middle of the ocean. It'd just be so amazingly odd and weird. However, the question is, would this fit in with the theme of Raft and where the storyline is heading? Well, I'm not so sure how likely it is that we might get an abandoned theme park in Chapter 3. I'd be willing to bet that it's not even been discussed as an idea at Red Beach Studios, but we have no idea, so let's not count it out. For all we know, we could be riding roller coasters in Chapter 3 and discovering the hidden secrets behind some mysterious abandoned ocean amusement park. I mean, we did get zip lines, so anything's possible. Next up is something I've never even thought of, so big thanks to Wiz who came up with the idea of an entire underground world in the water. How would this even work? Like, are we talking some kind of Atlantis or just some kind of under the ocean cave? There are so many ways at which this could be approached by Red Beat, but some kind of deep water location hidden underneath the ocean waves could be mesmerizing. It could even just be a randomly generating structure that you'd have to keep a lookout for underneath the ocean while you're just drifting along. Instead of having to just spot the islands, you'd actually have to keep an eye out for lights or large structures underneath the waves. It'd just add a whole nother aspect to exploration and scuba diving. They could even hold prehistoric fossils in the caves, or even corpses from dead divers who tried exploring it and just failed. But once again, thank you so much for Wiz for this idea, because it is so expansive and genuinely unique, and I guess something we could really see added to Raft in Chapter 3, because after all, scuba diving will be one of the headline features in the Chapter 3 update. And now we've covered a really awesome exploration feature, let's move on to something a bit more functional, more modern building additions, and this feature was suggested by Olga Sete. So sorry if I've butchered your name, my friend, but the suggestion went a little bit like this. More modern technology could also be provided for the game, and they then went on to suggest windows as a modern kind of building block. And I must admit, this is something I've always wanted in the game, because as Olga said in the comment, the game does feel limited as to what you can actually build. Even though the renovation update did bring in hundreds of different furniture and painting patterns, as a builder you're still very much creatively limited. We do have windows, but they're just holes in the wall, and once you're stacking up loads of glass, metal ore, titanium, it begins to feel a little old-fashioned and out of style. So come on Red Beat, surely we're due an upgrade. In one of my previous videos, I suggested that we may get new building materials added to the game, like metal and even brick. So this could be the start to loads more customization and personalization when it comes to construction within Raft. On top of Olga's amazing suggestion for genuinely functional glass windows, we could also get more stair variations, thicker pillars, roof support, so we no longer have to do that game-breaking pole glitch, because at least in my opinion, having to break the game's physics in order to have a comfortably functional Raft without poles scattered everywhere just doesn't feel right. So thank you for that amazing suggestion, Olga, but let's move on to the next one. In this next suggestion, Merlin gives us loads of different ideas, but in this video I'm going to focus on the idea of in-game pets like cats or dogs, and I absolutely love this idea. I mean, I have 2 dogs in real life, Sparky and Pebbles by the way, but anyways, imagine if you could find a wild dog or just wolves on certain islands in the game and tame them similar to how you can in Minecraft. I don't know, perhaps giving them a couple bones or some beef would make them love you and follow you onto your Raft, because if that could happen, then you could have an actual companion to fight alongside you, because sometimes it can get a little lonely, especially when you're playing solo. Couldn't be me. But anyways, let's move on from that depressing note. Earlier on in this video, I covered randomly generating structures by showing you guys Wiz's underwater Atlantis suggestion. Now let's talk about Lonely Believer's idea, which is also something I've discussed in my videos before, but I think it's something something which should be of high priority to Redbeat, as these sort of things really make or break the game. Anyways, let me show you Lonely Believer's suggestion. In the comment they said more unique islands with better loot, as right now there are only two, the Help Island and the Plane Crash Island, and that's very true. I mean, only two rare islands? Come on Redbeat, we need more than that. Since all the players like to grind Raft and complete it in like 3 sittings, oftentimes we end up relying on these random events to make our playing experience more enjoyable. And once you've found all of these islands at least once in your world, then the hype dies down, and since they're not actually super duper rare, it doesn't take too long unless your luck is very awful. So as Lonely Believer said, more random rare events would be very well received by the community and is most definitely something I can actually see being added in chapter 3. And we're going to be taking one more suggestion for what Redbeat should add in the chapter 3 update, and it's going to be from Reza. They gave quite a few suggestions, but I'll focus on just the first two: NPCs and fishing nets. Great ideas, and if you didn't already know, NPCs are basically AIs, so robots inside of the game which are pre-programmed to behave in a certain way, whether that's friendly or unfriendly, so they might attack you like the rat in Tangaroa. However, Reza sadly didn't go into more detail about the NPC suggestion, so I will. You may have heard me talk about AI pirates being added to the game in chapter 3, and I think that's what this suggestion is about. Apologies if it's not Reza, but that's what I'm going to talk about. It'd literally make the game so much more interactive and scary. And if you look at a game like Sea of Thieves, you can almost never stop playing it, nor can you ever get bored, because there are always random events happening. Whether that's getting attacked by a massive kraken, fighting other players on their ships, and even getting attacked by sharks, there is always something happening. And just the pure anticipation of something happening or appearing in front of you can make the game so fun. So even the simple addition of some kind of AI pirate which can spot you trying to loot an island and begin chasing you would be so insanely fun to interact with. Perhaps they may try and board your raft with the goal of stealing your loot, but obviously it's up to you to defend your treasures by fighting back. And as for the other suggestion of fishing nets, I know we already have fishing and it's quite effective as a food source, but as you get richer and more established as a raft, I think it's only fair that we get to just put out some kind of massive fishing net and reel in hundreds of fish at once. You could even AFK the net on your raft and just wait for it to fill up, and then that's your food source established for like an entire week. But guys, that is all for your amazing suggestions that you lot have sent through on my community page in the past few days. And honestly, I can't thank you guys enough for the help on this video. I've spent the past few days without a microphone or even a working Ethernet cable, so it was nice to know that you guys are still here and anticipating the next video. If you featured in today's video, congrats, and leave a like if you did enjoy it. If you're new around here, make sure to subscribe. Like, what are you doing? Come on, go subscribe to the channel, and once you've done that, you can join my official community Discord, which can be found in the video description. Enjoy the rest of your day, my friends, and I will see you in the next one.